It's my honor to introduce the next speaker. Me and this guy was in the joint together a long, long time ago, you know, and I don't think this white boy likes color television. But I tell you one thing, one day we looked across the room and there he was, and he winked at me as if he had the connection. And I knew if he was somewhere where something good was going on, I wanted some of it. And so I want to introduce a good friend of mine and a person I know that walks like he talks and that have been around here when I got here, Billy Michaels.
Could you keep your noise level down, please?
My name is Bill. I'm an addict. And welcome to Jurassic Park, you know. But no, I want to thank the people for, you know, asking me to come out and to be, you know, put into a category of a reptile around here, because most of the people that are sharing, like, and have shared before me and like later in the day, you know, these people were here when I got here, you know, which is real important, you know. And this is my second function of the day. Earlier I was at down on Brooklyn, and they had a old-timers breakfast, you know, which was, I really liked it. There was a lot of people down there that, you know, I'll probably never see at a meeting, but they were there, and they're people from like way back. And, you know, it fucking thrills me to see anybody that's got any kind of life at all, man, after, you know, from where I came from, you know. And like Bill here, man, you know, like hey, way back, man, and no offense to black people here. Hey, when I first got here, man, the only one that was here was Bob Barrett. That was it that I knew of, you know. And then over the years, you know, and this guy right here, I recognized him one evening at a Venice meeting years back, you know, and I said, hey, man, you know, was it the domino tables, Bill, or someplace, you know, on the fucking yard, you know. And today, you know, I'm not on the yard, and I haven't been on the yard in a long time, and I don't ever want to go back to the yard again. So I try to do what I have to do around here as a person who was taught by you, you know, to continue on this path and try to give it away. I'm a big believer in that, you know. And I'm also a big believer in trying to stick to the basic format of what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. You know, for the benefit of people that are just like coming around, I'm not an imposter, or I'm an addict, man. And if you want to talk about narcotics, I'll talk to you for a short period of time after the fucking meeting. I know how to take dope, man. I know every feasible way to ingest narcotics into this fucking body, you know. And I preferred the IV method, you know. It seemed most direct and the quickest, and that's the way it was for me, you know. My drug of choice was heroin, which makes no difference. I think at one time that may have had a status around here. It really doesn't mean shit now, you know, because, hey, if you're sniffing gasoline or tetrachloride or smoking coke, whatever your trip is, too much marijuana, too many pills, whatever, you belong here, you know, and there's a place for you, and if you're looking for something better than that, you don't have to go any farther. What it was like for me, man, and I don't like to lock into any one of the three phases, you know. I try to keep a balance. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't want to lock into like a big drug-a-log. I did this, I did that, I went here, I went there, because it's really not that important. So to kind of highlight it a little bit, I started using drugs when I was 12 years old. I did it for 25 years, and at the tender age of 37, you know, I had been surrendered. I didn't know that, but that had occurred, And I wound up in a recovery house that took me to meetings like this, not quite this big, but you people were there. And some of the people that are in this room were at those meetings. So, and that, like I said in the very beginning, that's important to me. People come here and they stay here, and it's not necessary to go back out. Probably most of the people that come here, it seems like for whatever reasons, you know, they've got to test the waters again. And a lot of those people get back, and they are the fortunate ones. And you don't hear about the unfortunates, the fucking people that have never given another opportunity to come into these rooms and to be a part of this fine fellowship. A lot of people leave here and they're just going to do it one more time, and it never happens for them again. So anyway, for 25 years, I dabbled in drugs. You know, I was locked up a lot. Can you hear me back there in the third section? Most motherfuckers don't even know what that is. They used to have, in the old county jail, there was 3 sections, you know. The dope fiends were up front, the intermediates were in the middle, and the winos were in the back. We kept them in the back because the motherfuckers smelled bad. You know? Yeah. They'd be pumping them through full of that formaldehyde and shit, you know, and then they'd all be doing that little dance, you know. So we'd keep them way in the back. But anyway, I did that for 25 years. I went to a lot of institutions. I did my best to stay loaded there. I did my best to stay loaded wherever I went. And you know, eventually, the last time I was released from a penitentiary was 1969. I was released from Folsom. And, hey, I didn't, like all other times before, I didn't know what I was going to do out here. You know, I came out really lost, and, you know, I was told, man, I wasn't equipped to make it in the free world. You know, I just had no fucking social skills. I felt very uncomfortable, and I don't know what narcotics did for you, man, but I know what they did for me, and it changed the fucking way that I felt, and that had to happen, you know. Once I got into that drug, man, I was okay. So I had the longest run in my career, 6 years, which by my standards is a real fucking long run, you know. I used every day, uninterrupted using, a lot of drinking, methadone, different little programs that I tried, and nothing, I don't know, after a very short period of time on methadone, I was really kicking myself in the ass because I really couldn't get fucking high anymore. Not the high that I liked. I'm talking that hard narcotic euphoria, you know. And it was lost, man, and I thought that I, you know, forever, you know, and it was because of the methadone. So I drank a lot, I took a lot of pills. I'm a chemist. I think we all become chemists through our addiction. You know, we learn how to mix them up, 4 of these, 5 of those, 6 of that, and sometimes you get a nice combo and you're going to do it again, but you can't remember what the fuck it was, you know. Always, you know, always forgetting, you know, and so, you know, the last time that I used, I'll tell you about that. The only reason that I was out, the period of time that I was out, is because I wasn't in Los Angeles. I was on a little island, Catalina Island, and it was different using over there. It was more difficult because I had 26 fucking miles of water, man, to contend with, you know. So I know all the seaplane schedules, I know all the boat schedules, and that's the way it was for me, you know. And it lasted for 6 years, man, and one evening, it all came to a fucking end, you know. And if it hadn't of, maybe I would still be over there fucking lost somewhere, you know. But for me, I had put a play together. I had 7 fucking spoons coming, man. Good shit, you know. And the guy missed the last flight back to Avalon. So I'm not going to get the dope until the next morning, you know. I mean, when I got the phone call, hey, man, you know, I missed the plane, but I'll see you in the morning, I fucking wanted to die, you know. I mean, I was waiting on that dope. I wasn't dope sick. I had been eating Percodon all day and drinking cheap wine. So, but I couldn't get my mind off that stuff, man. And I just said, hey, I'm going to go down to the bar. I'm going to have a couple drinks, get paralyzed, come home, fucking pass out. And when I come to, that plane's going to be in the air and I'm going to have those drugs in my hand, And I lived a quarter of a block from the Chi-Chi Club, man. So I went down there, ordered 2 doubles, Jack Daniels in the rough, and belted them down. And after a couple drinks, the bartender wanted me to leave. I guess I was getting abrasive or something. And he was a personal friend of mine. And I said, hey, I'll leave here, man. I said, let me have one for the road. I wanted to walk out with one, and he poured me one in a paper cup, and I walked out. And I only have a quarter of a block to go to my pad, man, and I'm going to just fall out, and tomorrow morning the dope's going to be there. And in that quarter of a block, man, between the Chi-Chi Club and the little apartment that I had was a medical center, And as soon as I was bouncing off palm trees trying to get home, and when I got in front of the medical center, I said, hey, man, I don't have to wait. I know what's in there, One of my favorite things is pharmaceutical narcotics, man. I love Panopon, Dilaudid, morphine, sulfate, the good shit, And I know what's in there. So I stopped and fell through their window, Fucking head first, man. And, an alarm went off. The sheriffs came, and one more time, man, to make a long story short, I got my fucking head split open. And my little world over there had come to an end. I mean, I was through. I had another felony charge, and every time I had a felony, I went to the penitentiary. And my life was over. By my standards and by my thoughts, my whole life it was through, I was going back, and I was going to play fucking dominoes for the... Hey, Fuzzy. How you doing? Oh, man, look at all those old motherfuckers back. God damn. Hey, look in the back. There's fucking movie stars back there. Hey, ain't this something? This is a hell of a joint here, man. This ain't bad at all. And, where was I at, honey? What was I doing? Oh, yeah. So I'm on my way back to the fucking penitentiary, and it never happened, I remember they took me to the hospital. I had my head sewn open, and I remember, man, I tried to make the cop kill me. I wanted the motherfucker to blow me away, and opting for going back to the penitentiary or getting my fucking head blown off. I would rather have my head blown off, I don't want to go back to that fucking dungeon, And I got away from him. They had me cuffed behind my back. I got away from him. I got out of the fucking hallway into the parking lot of the hospital and stopped right under a fucking parking lot light and turned around and was looking at him and says, hey, started talking about him, his mother, everybody, I wanted to go, man. I fucking wanted to check out, and obviously it didn't happen. They took me to the city jail. My brother, it was further complicated by my brother's actions, who heard about his big brother being in jail, and he's going to come and get him out. Like, where in the fuck are we going to go, We're on Catalina Island. What are we going to do, run up in the hills and fucking ride buffalo around, So he comes to the police department with a fucking 30-30, and busts a couple rounds through the front door and then kicks the real macho motherfucker, crazy son of a bitch. He's insane, And he was real lucky that he didn't get blown away. He just got a good ass kicking and went to the penitentiary, But and I ended up in the county jail, and somebody coming up to see me, and my introduction to this program, So I start going to these meetings, and there's a few people here that I can relate to, a couple of them walking down the aisle here, But anyway, I came to these rooms, and I think the first thing that I felt from you people was fucking hope, man. I recognized the fact that there were people like myself in this room. I didn't know what in the hell you were doing to stay clean, but whatever it was, I was willing to try it, And so my journey began. And, it's been a learning process, and I don't know, man, so many different things, man, were important to me. It was important to me in the very beginning that someone that I hardly knew at the time, Danny, and he just walked in here, and he used to bring me and this other guy that's speaking later in the afternoon, he used to bring us cigarettes to the fucking recovery house, And I used to think, well, what does this son of a bitch want, I didn't have anything, It's not like I had a couple $100,000 on the books. I can remember when I went to Impact, I can remember exactly what I had. The reason that I can remember is that it wasn't very fucking much. I had the Safeway suitcase. I had about three pair of boxer shorts, not the V8s. Boxer shorts, and I had the reversibles, Buzz. And 3 pairs of socks, and everything was dirty, and I was scared to set the bag down anywhere for fear somebody might steal. That's how important that shit was to me, So, and, and right away, people started coming into my life and things started happening, but not that I was that aware in the beginning, because a lot of things, I can convey exactly what happened to me. When I came here, and number one, when I went to that recovery house, I was fucking boxed out of my mind, Earlier that day, I had taken 8 ounces of Tussinex that I drank right in front of the pharmacist. As soon as he gave me the bottle, I capped it and I went, and he looked at me and I says, man, I got a hell of a fucking cough, man. Hey, I didn't give a fuck, man, and I paid and I walked out, and that's how I got to Impact. I was fucking cross-eyed as a pelican, man, loaded, and I knew exactly how long it took that narcotic to leave my body, and I didn't feel too bad, because when I was being driven up to Impact, I noticed that there was a pharmacy on the left. It's still there, And I thought, hey, I don't know what kind of a rib I'm on, but when I leave this fucking place, there's a pharmacy right there. And I don't know about you all, man, but I had a doctor that would write forever. A gay fella. And I'm not gay. So I know what a whore feels like, because I got my prescription every time. Every time, So I knew that when the narcotics were out of me, I was going to come back to this drugstore and get my prescription filled, and then I had some things I had to take care of, And that's been, that's been over 17 years ago. I ain't got the motherfucker cash yet, And I'm living in the miracle today, because when I woke up this morning, I didn't think about narcotics. I didn't think about taking no dope, So the promises that I heard from you people in these rooms have been happening in my life, and they've been happening for a fucking long time, And I want to keep them happening, And the only way that I know how to do that is by fucking showing up when I'm supposed to be here, and doing the things that you people told me I'd have to do, I go on panels. That's good for me to remember where in the fuck I came from and where I can go again, I'm not exempt from getting loaded again. I mean, here, just recently it seems like there have been like some people with some, pretty good time, man, that got all scrambled up, like forever, like dying before your time, and going out again and things of that nature, So that tells me that, when I see and I hear about that stuff happening, man, I do not want it to happen to me. So I don't take anything around here lightly, A lot of times I got to take me lightly. I've got to fucking laugh at myself, because probably about 95% of the time, man, I'm a real fucking joke, A real fucking joke. Some of the things that I scramble up in my head, some of my thoughts, some of the ways that I'm going to take care of things are really fucking off key, man. That's why it's highly recommended to have a sponsor, and to use that sponsor and to get some fucking direction, I believe that we have fucking transmitters that are just all fucked up, man. And I don't know about you. Maybe your mind has mended itself, man. Mine hasn't. So I heard an old timer say, hey, get a sponsor. And if you're new here and you're hearing voices and like you've got a direct link with God, you're in deep shit. You should probably fucking be locked up. That's why it's good to get a sponsor, because if you're hearing these voices and the voice is saying, hey man, go left, call your sponsor. If he says go right, go fucking right. Get some fucking down-to-earth fucking direction, man. I hear people all the time that say, hey, God is my sponsor. Good luck, Bubba. Good luck, Hey, people like that fly out the windows here all the time. Like you're a little bit different and you don't need that fucking human element in your program. Who in the fuck do you think you are? Do you think that you're any different from all the other people here? You don't have to dance with everybody in this fucking room, but you better find somebody, because you won't fucking dance here alone. I danced alone when I used to be pumped full of that hair on. Hey, I danced good by myself. Yeah. In them dark little $10 a week fucking rooms, pissing the sink. Hey. God, I love those. Those and the old pool halls. I miss them, But change, it's all about change. And what time is this on? Okay. Yeah, I don't want to get none of you whistle bit. I know you all got things to take care of out there, But places to go, people to see, important stuff, But, like today, man, there's a great gift in my life, man, and it's the freedom that I have. And number one, I'm going to lay an opinion on it. And this is for people that are kind of relatively new. You old fuckers really don't need these meetings that much anyway. But you still need them. But people that are relatively new, some of the things, I had a misconception. Number one, if you've lived in addiction for any period of time, you have to believe that your perceptions of things are truly fucked up. You really do not see things the way that they really are. They're distorted, So, I did. Opinion? One man's opinion? You don't even know what the fuck I'm doing up here, do you? I'm lost. Thanks to methadone, the methadone memory, what I was so heartedly trying to convey to you has flown away like a little bird. And, it may or may not come back, But one of the things that's real important around here to me, I'll just go on to something else. It's not like I'm going to run out of shit to talk about. So now, it's coming back, Here it comes. Freedom. Freedom. That's it. See? And I remember as a newcomer sitting in the rooms and you people were up here fucking ranting and raving about that. And I'm sitting down there and I'm thinking, fuck, that ain't nothing I don't know nothing about. That's like walking out of the penitentiary. That's what the fuck they're talking about. I know that feeling. I know what it is to walk out of the fucking walls. That feels good, don't it, Fuzz? Huh? That's fun, man, walking out. Because you got a lot of shit to take care of, man. You got a lot of things that you're going to do. But you weren't talking about that. But I didn't know it. You know when I found out what you were talking about? About 6 months later, I had to go back to jail clean on that beef I was telling you about, that little meatball burglary. I had to go back to the slammer, and it was there that I had my first spiritual experience, you know. I knew that something was happening in my life, and it was on a Sunday afternoon. Not that Sunday, it could have been Monday, Tuesday, fucking Wednesday, any of them. But I'll remember the day always because it left a profound impression on me. And I was laying in my cell, locked in the fucking drum, and a friend of mine came by, and he had the bag. He had the sack. His old lady was running. He looked like a chipmunk. He had a mouth full of fucking balloons, man. And he had the rig right in his pocket. He had just pulled it out of his ass. He had it right there, and he says, "Hey, Billy, I got one for you." You know, and I hadn't been to a meeting that day. I hadn't talked to my sponsor that day. I did have a book, but I kind of hid it, and I don't think I'd read it that day, you know. But I remember exactly what I told him. I says, "Hey," I got kind of serious, and it got kind of quiet, and I says, "Hey, not today, check again tomorrow." That's exactly what I told him. And then when the words left my mouth, in a way, I kind of wanted to fucking pull them back. Like, what have you done? You know? I mean, here's your drug of choice. You're in jail. What in the fuck have you done? But none of that shit was going through my head, man. And he looked at me kind of funny because I had fucked around with this guy on the streets, excuse my language. But he didn't hang around too long, man, and then he walked away from my cell. And the spiritual experience that I had occurred at that moment. I did not want to call him back. It was fucking over, man. It was finished for me, you know. And I knew then something was happening here for me, and I knew then what that old antique son of a bitch was talking about when he damn near had a heart attack from the podium talking about freedom. I knew what he was talking about. He was talking about something inside, you know. And at that moment in time, I was freer than I'd ever fucking been in my life. And I have that freedom from day to day to day, every day, you know. So, you know, it's been a real good deal for me and for a lot of my friends, you know. And it fucking works. And figuring out who's going to end up with this and who isn't, man, is a fucking ongoing joke around here, you know. Some of the people that, you know, I don't know, man. Hey, motherfuckers come around here, man, and you just want them to have it. Maybe you go back with them 30 years or something, man, and you just can't do a whole lot other than being there and being an example. And a lot of times you see those people come around, and a lot of times you see those fucking people die. I mean, you know, you know, who wants to, I mean, fuck it, dying's dying, and I guess it really doesn't make any difference where it happens, man, but man, I don't want it to be in a fucking shitter on the floor by myself, maybe lay in there so fucking long I would start decomposing and nobody would even miss me, you know. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to cash in that way, you know. I want to live, you know, clean and in this program, man, until, you know, maybe lay in there so fucking long I would start decomposing and nobody would even miss me, you know. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to cash in that way, you know. I want to live, you know, clean and in this program, man, until, you know, it's over for me. That's my big fucking goal, you know. And I know that it's possible. The reason that I say that, it has been proven to me because I've had friends that have come here that have gained cleanliness and sobriety. Excuse the fucking language if you don't like it here. And that's the way I feel about that. You know, hey, I really don't give a fuck whether you approve of me or not, and I'm not even going to bite into it. No fucking way. Hey, I'm an addict, and I have basic fucking rights in my life today. And most of my life, I didn't have those. I couldn't come out at night and play in the backyard. I couldn't, I didn't go out past 3 o'clock. So all of my life, I've had motherfuckers telling me what I can and can't do. And if you think for a goddamn minute I'm going to listen to somebody that's going to tell me what I can and cannot say, you're fucking full of shit. You're full of shit. You can take that fucking shit. I don't care where you take it. Don't bring it to my house. I don't fucking want it, man. NA, you know, and I've been with addicts all my life. I'm a fucking addict, man, and I'm at home when I'm with addicts, man, and I want to be with you. And if you can't accept me the way you are, it's fucking your problem, not mine. You see, I can't change anything, you know. I found a way to implement this thing into my life, and I'm not going to fuck around and switch horses, man. You know, the program is the program. The 12 steps are the fucking 12 steps. How did I fucking even get into this shit? I can't believe it. Hey, and now I'm going to show you how good I can let shit go. I ain't talking about it no fucking more. I was making myself sick. I'll move on, you know. Another thing that I heard around here, and you know, you hear this a lot in the beginning, and you know, there are things that I heard in the very beginning that are fucking still with me. And one of the things that I used to hear all the time from people, they'd say, hey, you know, hey, are you willing? Are you willing? How do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? You know, I just wanted to be left alone. You know, I wanted to crawl under my own bed, man, and just have a few moments by myself, you know. But it never happened. And maybe if I would have found that spot, maybe I wouldn't be here now. Maybe I would have fought my way out of here. But one of the most impressive things that I heard at a meeting, and the reason it impressed me is because it hit me right between the fucking eyes, is that this guy told me about willingness, you know. And what he told me was that willingness without action is fantasy. You know, think about that. If you're sitting on your dead ass and you're just here and you're not doing anything at all, you won't stay here. You may be here for a while, but sooner or later you're going to have to reach out. You're going to have to start doing these sometimes corny fucking things that they talk about doing around here. Like writing a fucking inventory. You know, when I first heard that in the step study meeting, I thought, hey, you know, I'll do that in my own time, and I'm going to write a book anyway. They aren't talking about that shit, man. For me, the inventory was kind of getting rid of a bunch of stuff, man, that I was going to take to the graveyard, you know. Shit that I wasn't going to tell anybody else, man. And it went way back, man, to when I was a little kid. And, you know, for me, I think it's important, too, to talk. I'll just talk a second. I know you're starting to get bored, I can tell. In the you see, I started using drugs when I was 12. But there were things that happened before that I believe that were kind of influential in my life, you know. And I kind of came from just a fucking all-American family. I had an older sister, younger brother. My father was in construction. My mother's back home. Moms, they stayed at home and took care of the kids. They could do that then, you know. And when I was 7 years old, all of a sudden my mother got sick and she died. Now, this was the first trauma in my life. This was a big fucking deal, you know. And I can remember when it happened. I could remember the hurt, you know. And then I can remember being at the funeral, and I was standing there looking at my mom in the casket, and my grandmother was there, and she says, hey, Billy, you know, aren't you going to cry? This is the last time you're going to see your mom. And And I remember as vividly as I can remember the first time I shot dope, I can remember everything. The music that was playing, the way that dope tasted, that big soft sofa that I sat in. I was smoking Camel cigarettes too, you know, and I was sweating and I was throwing up Delaware Punch. And man, it was so fucking good. You know, it was. But as vividly as I can remember that, I can remember looking at my grandmother, and I can remember exactly what went through my mind. And it was, you know what? Nobody is ever going to know how I'm fucking hurting, man. Nobody is ever going to know. I don't want people to know that because I was all choked up. I fucking probably wanted to cry or should have cried or fucking God knows what. But I didn't, and I just choked it down. I didn't want anybody to know that, man, you know, hey, I was fucking bleeding inside. I was hurt, you know. And at 7 years old, you know, I didn't run out after the funeral and beg somebody to buy me a fucking short dog, you know. But a few years later, there was a minority of people in my neighborhood, and they were addicts. And they dressed a little bit different, man, and they talked a little bit different. They were cool motherfuckers, you know. And I wanted to be one of them. And, you know, it was fucking hard work, man, and I became one. And I prided myself in the fact that I became a good one. And I lived by those codes that were so fucking valid to me most of my life, you know. Now today I look back on them and I think, Jesus, you know, there's no validity to those things in my life today. If I went home and my place had been broken into, I would, without thought, I would call the police, and I wouldn't arm myself and go out and look for the criminals. No, I'll turn it over to the police and let them do it, you know. But back then, anybody that ever called the cop was a rat, see, for anything. If somebody was murdering your mother, you didn't call the police, you killed them, you know. But thank God, man, that I don't live by the codes that I used to live by, and changes have occurred in my life, and I am the person that I am today, you know. And I was talking to Mona, and she says, oh, I know it's going to be a spiritual pitch. And you know what? It is spiritual. Because I'll tell you, man, I have not fucking kept myself clean, and that maddening obsession that has been removed from me was taken by a power greater than myself, whom I do not understand all the time, but who I do check in with every fucking day, man. Every day. Because I believe I've had some tests, and you're going to have some, and I'm going to have some more, and if I'm not right with that God that I've found through this program, I'm going to check out too. I'm going to leave you nice motherfuckers and probably never see you again. And I don't want that to be. I do not want that to come to pass, man. I know that even in abstinence, man, my disease has progressed. It's been proven to me. You know, 2 years ago I passed a kidney stone, right? You're not going to, am I or am I not going to take medication? You're taking dope, pal. You're going to get some dope and you're fucking on. And after they gave me that dope, they had to tie me down. Both ankles and both wrists. And that was the only thing that was hitting the fucking bed, man. I was arched. I wanted fucking out. You know why? There were 5 security guards there, and in my mind, I had went back to the joint, and they were fucking bulls off the yard, you know, and I was motherfucking, you know, and I was telling them, I ain't paying you son of a bitches, you know. My insurance company ain't paying you. And I was all fucked up in my head, man. And that went on for about 2 or 3 hours, and they tried to give me something to turn the drug around, but it was too late, and it just had to run its course, you know. So if I left you people, you know, if for some reason I decided, like, hey, one more time, I want some more of that shit, man, hey, I ain't going to be here too long, man. My fucking liver's hanging by a thread anyway. You know? What the fuck am I going to do out there? How long will I last? But fear of death never stopped a fucking addict. And I'll tell you one more thing, and I'll shut up, man. You know, self-knowledge is to no avail around here. I don't give a fuck who you think you are, what you think you know, how intellect you are, how much you can memorize, how fucking well you know the pages in the fucking book. It ain't going to keep you clean. One of my best friends, man, was I loved listening to this guy in groups, and he would quote different things from both books, you know, really. And he died drunk, and he died fucking loaded, you know. So self-knowledge is to no avail, you know. You've got to come to terms with a power greater than yourself, and if you can't believe in that, all you really have to believe is that other people do and it works for them, and that's fucking enough. That ain't asking too much. I don't give a fuck how much you hate God. That ain't asking too much, man. Just believe that other people do, you know. It's worked well in my life, man, and for a lot of the people that I know around here, you know, it's worked really fucking good, man. And I want to thank you all for having me out here. It's a hot son of a bitch, but I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but where I'm at right now and with you people, because, hey, I got a room full of friends, you know, and you accept me just the way that I am, fucked up or not fucked up. You understand me. Obviously, you understand me. You have sat and listened to me. And what in the fuck have I talked about? Who in the fuck? I'm bouncing off the walls. You can, you know, I mean, you can see why I need these rooms where, hey, do you think for a second I would go out to my sister's house and talk like this? No, you know, she's like really nice and has a nice husband and 2 fine sons, and God, and I'm going to go out there like this? She told me one time, she says, I'd like to go to a meeting and hear you, and I said, nah, I don't think so. Because I don't cuss or anything like that. I cuss when it's called for. In these meetings, I think sometimes it's helpful. But, you know, I can get through one of these ordeals without one foul word if I fucking want to. Today, I don't want to. Hey, I started off the day with a bunch of old wrinkled-ass convicts, man, you know, talking shit. And convicts are like old biddies. They get together, hey, what happened to so-and-so? Hey, where's that? And most of the motherfuckers you're talking about have been dead. They're gone. They got their fucking heads blown off, their fucking bones are dry, and you're talking about, remember when? Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was a tough motherfucker. He sure was. Yeah, he went out right. He went out blazing. I'll say this and I shut up, man. I said that twice before and I'm lying. You caught me in a lie. I'm lying. Son of a bitch. First time. But I'll say this, you know, like when many years ago, and it's been many years ago, my nuts were like fucking watermelon, you know. Give me your money, you son of a bitch, or I'll blow your fucking head off. Give me your money. Get it up. Get it up now. And when I got here, I had kind of a high-pitched voice. My nuts were about the size of shelled sunflower seeds. That's right. Hey, they had been ground down, you know, by the fucking streets, man, and by that fucking life and by addiction, you know. And the greatest thing that I ever heard in my life, man, from you people is when you told me, you know what, Billy? You do not ever have to fucking live that way again, and you don't ever have to fucking use again, and you don't ever have to go back to the penitentiary, man. And I'm here to fucking tell you that I know that this son of a bitch works for 17 fucking years. I know it. It's worked that long for me, man. And it kind of looks like I might get one more fucking day in here. You know why? Because I'm staying here for the rest of these meetings, because there's really a bunch of folks that are going to be talking later on that I fucking really want to hear from and that I haven't heard from for a long time, you know. So I think it's just a real great thing, man, and I think it's one of the nicest functions that I've been to in like really a long time. I'm not too up on the big conventions because they're like too big. It's like eating lunch in San Quentin. Have you ever done that? God, the lines are 50 fucking miles long for a little cheese sandwich. God, man. So anyway, it's 3 o'clock, and I think we're out of here. I want to thank you all for being here, and keep coming back. Thank you.